Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. We welcome to Online Teaching Academy Ekalaiva. This video is on the second part of Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. So the policy of apartheid, what is that? The racial discrimination based on color and creed created such a long-lasting wound in his country and its people. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. So the long-lasting wound created such an impact that it would take many years, if not many generations, to recover from that profound hurt. But the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the Oliver Thombs, the Walter Sisulu, the Chief Lutulis, the Yusuf Dadus, the Bram Fishers, the Robert Subukus of our time, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity that their like may never be known again. So the oppression and brutality not only created the profound hurt in the country, but also it created the unintended effect. That is, it produced many noble leaders like Oliver Thomas, the Walter Sisulu, etc. And Nelson Mandela says that, and the world will never see again the men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity. Perhaps it requires such depth of oppression to create such heights of character. So the oppression and brutality was so deep that it created the men of such extraordinary characters. My country is rich in minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. He says that his country has rich minerals and gems that lie under its soil, but the country's greatest wealth is its people. And according to him, because they are the finer and truer than the purest diamonds. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. So he learned the meaning of courage from these comrades. Comrades means friends. Friends like Oliver Thomas and Walter Sisulu, those who participated in the freedom struggle. So from them he learned the real meaning of courage. Time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. So very often he had seen men and women risking their life for the beautiful idea of freedom. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. So he could see the unimaginable resilience and strength. Resilience means the ability to deal with any kind of hardship. And he could see the unimaginable strength and resilience of the people who stood up against the attacks and torture without involving in any violence. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers the fear. So according to him, The courage was not the absence of fear, but overcome that fear. And also he says that the who is the real brave man. So the man who does not feel afraid is not the real brave man, but the man who conquers the fear is the real brave man. In life, every man has twin obligations. Obligations to his family, to his parents, to his wife and children, and he has an obligation to his people, his community, his country. In life, every man has twin obligations. Twin obligations means two duties. What are those obligations? The first obligation is to his family. As a son, he has some duty to his parents. As a husband, he has some duty to his wife. As a father, he has some duty to his children. The second obligation is as a citizen, as a leader, he has some duty to his people, to his community, or to his country. In a civil and humane society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. If a man lives in a civil and humane society, civil means polite, and humane society means the society where the human values are valued. So if he lives in such a society, it would be easy for him to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations, according to his own, the natural tendencies of behavior. Inclinations means natural tendencies of behavior. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. But a man who lived in South Africa, who was black in color, could not fulfill his duties because he was deprived of the basic rights. He was not allowed to do any duties to his people or to his family. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. A man who lived in South Africa, if he tried to live as a human being and he tried to live a normal life, he was punished and he was isolated. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. And the same way, if a man in South Africa tried to fulfill his duty to his people, he was inevitably ripped from his family. Inevitably means unavoidably. Ripped means he was separated. He was separated from his family and his home, and he was forced to live apart, live a life apart. And he had to live like a rebel secretly. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. So he says that in the beginning, he gave importance to his family only than his people. But after he started serving his people, he found that he was not able to fulfill his obligations as a a son, as a brother, as a father, and a husband. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free, free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast mealies under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. So when he was born and grew into a little boy, and did not have any passion to be free, because he was born free. He lived a carefree life, free to run in the field and free to swim in the stream that ran through his village, and free to roast mealies. Mealies means maize corn. So he roasted maize at night and he used to have a nice ride on the broad back of slow moving bulls. As long as I obeyed my father and abided the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. So as long as he followed his father's instruction and the rules set that by his tribe, no law of God or man troubled him. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. So, as a young boy, he did not realize that he was deprived of the basic rights. But when he grew into a young man, he realized that his boyhood freedom was an illusion. What is that illusion? Illusion means something that appears to be real but is not. So, and also he thought that his freedom had already been taken from him. So then he started hunger for it. What is hunger for it? Hunger for it means longing for it. So he was longing for the freedom. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. The transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased, and go where I chose. So at first, as a student, he wanted freedom for himself. And he wanted the transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night. What is a transitory freedom? Transitory means temporary. So he wanted the temporary freedom, just to stay out at night and read whatever he wanted to read and to go wherever he wanted. Later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I earned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family, the freedom not to be abstracted in a lawful life. So later on, as a young man in Johannesburg, he had the desire to have the honorable freedom to get a job, to earn enough money to live his life. And also, he wanted to marry and have a family. And also, he wanted the freedom not to be abstracted. Abstracted means prevented. He didn't want his freedom to be prevented in a lawful life. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. He understood that his brothers and sisters were also not free like him. He also slowly realized that not only his freedom was curtailed, curtailed means reduced. Not only his freedom was curtailed, but also his brothers and sisters who were also longing for freedom. That is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. So first he was thinking of his own freedom. Then when he started thinking of his people's freedom, he joined African National Congress. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect that animated my life, that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one, that drove a law-abiding attorney to become a criminal, that turned a family-loving husband into a man without a home, that forced a life-loving man to live like a monk. So he wanted his people to live with dignity. Dignity means honor and self-respect that animated my life. Animated means here gave life. So the desire for the freedom of his people made him to participate in the freedom struggle. That changed a calm and quiet man into a bold one, and a law-abiding person into a criminal. Actually, he was not criminal. As he fought for his freedom, he was considered as a criminal. And also a family-loving husband into a man without a home. But he wanted to live his life. But he was forced to live like a monk. Monk means a religious person who lives away from his family. I am no more virtuous or self-sacrificing than the next man, but I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. He is considering himself as a common man. He says that he is no more virtuous or self-sacrificing than any other man. So virtuous means here having good qualities. So he had small freedoms he was not able to enjoy, even those transitory freedoms, when he understood that his people were not free. Freedom is indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. So freedom is indivisible. So it means the freedom cannot be divided. So giving freedom to one set of people and denying the same to another set of people is not correct. According to him, if one person's freedom is taken away, it means the whole people's freedom is taken away. If all the people's freedom is taken away, it means his own freedom is taken away. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. He says that the oppressed has to be liberated from the oppressor. Same way, the oppressor also should be freed from certain attitudes like hatred, prejudice, and narrow-mindedness, because he is confined with those attitudes that make him to oppress others. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. He also says if a person takes away someone else's freedom, he himself is not free. It is equal to his own freedom is taken away by someone. So in this way, both the oppressor and the oppressed are losing their humanity. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. See you in the next class. Thank you, children.